And wanting to do something where I'll be queued up with music during this little wait, but then I never get my stuff together in time. So.
You'll get there. You'll get there eventually the more you do these.
Thank you for your faith in me. So hello, Fit Pros. We are back. We are here. Today, my guest is Giovanni ROSELLI. But first, let me give you a little intro about what we're doing here. So this is the Fit Pros Show. I'm Kelly Coulter. This is the interactive live show created to connect fitness professionals with information, resources, and each other. This month, the Fit Pros Show Live hosts a takeover from SCW Fitness. All month, we're interviewing faculty and staff from SCW Fitness Education, culminating with the start of Dallas Mania, which starts August 21st this year and will be held online. And actually, it's earlier than that, isn't it, Giovanni? Because the 21st is kind of the conference.
Yeah, there's a pre-conference with some really great certifications. Yes. That probably starts that Wednesday and Thursday. And then Friday, the actual Mania, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is when the Mania will start.
Thank you for clarifying that. Yes, you're exactly right, because the 21st is Friday. The 21st is when I speak, and I'm just part of the Mania piece. But you are part of the certifications, and you'll be part of the Mania piece.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. So for more information about SCW Dallas, visit scwfit.com/Dallas. And please say hello as you walk in. Give us a little comment and let us know that you are here. And please say hello to Giovanni. Hey, Giovanni.
Hi, everybody who's out there. Hi, Kelly. Thanks for having me.
I've been looking forward to this interview. It's going to be really good. So Giovanni, will you give us a little intro just to your career, to your history, to kind of who you are as a fitness professional?
Yeah, we have 45 minutes, right? That's what probably take that.
Yes, we've been trying to keep it to about 40 to 45.
Yeah. So I kind of got into fitness backwards, so to speak. In a land far, far away, I used to be a professional wrestler, and that was my job, my career, my love, my passion. It's what I thought I'd be doing my whole life. And I suffered some pretty devastating injuries. And while that was going on, I also walked into a gym, and the gym fitness manager came over to me and he said, "Do you want a job here?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. How hard could it be? A little part-time job. I'm still wrestling, recovering for some injuries. I'll give it a shot." And little did I know that one question would literally change the course of my life, my career, and just set me on this rabbit hole of fitness education. And that was at Equinox, and I owe a lot to Equinox. And Equinox helped build me into the trainer that I am today. So I'm very grateful for the opportunities that they gave me. I really started to get into the corrective exercise stuff, the functional movements, because of the injuries that I suffered. So as I was learning, about personal training, learning about the body, because all I knew was how to train myself as a wrestler. I had no experience, and I honestly just did not know how to train other people. And once I started to learn the intricacies of the human body and how to move better makes you feel better, I was sucked right in. And that's how I've kind of gravitated towards kind of a movement-based approach and movement-based philosophy that I have today. And I love this stuff so much when I jumped down the rabbit hole that not only did I want to just be a trainer and participant, I wanted to pay it forward. I wanted to tell everyone, on all the young trainers, don't make the same mistakes I made. Here's some of the mistakes that I made. And here's what you can do to set yourself up to further your career and your success. And I'm willing to do that to anybody and anybody who's willing to listen. I do that to the personal training community. I do that to the group fitness community. And I also do that to several colleges and universities now as well. So it's very gratifying that I'm able at this point in my life. Now I'm basically 14 years into being a full-time fitness professional, that at this point I'm able to pay it forward and provide continuing education for our community.
I love that. So how many years were you a professional wrestler? What years was that? I'm going to go to YouTube right now. I'm going to find a video. I'm going to put it up. I'm just kidding.
It's not hard to find. Thanks to Google, it's not hard to find some pictures of me and some videos of me.
Well, good.
Which, interestingly enough, now I wonder, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to explain all of this to my daughter one day, once she starts to Google me and once she starts to look at what Daddy used to do when he was young. But that's another story. So I was wrestling, full time for about 5 years. And this was including stints with WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. This was traveling overseas, Europe, which included Italy, United Kingdom. I did Puerto Rico. I know it's not Europe. I'm just trying to think of where I went. I did Paris. So I was doing all these international tours as well. That's when I got the guest pass to Equinox, because in between tours, I needed a gym to work out in when I was in the U.S. At that time, I was living in New York, and I had a guest pass to Equinox, and I was like, "Hey, this place is pretty nice. Keep it pretty clean, pretty cool place." And then they just asked me to work here. I was like, "Yeah, let's give it a shot." And then from there, my life just went that way, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, that has to really demonstrate your passion for the industry, because that had to have been pretty intoxicating to be able to travel the world and perform in front of lots of fans. And did you have a character, should I ask?
Well, the interesting thing is that I rose up the ranks, so to speak, and now I still end up traveling the world and the country, and now I don't have to get thrown around and dropped on my head. Now I can fly around the country and teach fitness education. So that wrestling experience was good in so many ways for me. I achieved my dreams. It was cool being on TV and all that stuff, but it actually prepared me for a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now. So now getting on a plane, going to teach for a day, and then flying back, that's no big deal. For some, it's like, I got to get on a plane. I got to get a hotel. I got to do this. I was like, I was doing that for years in my 20s, like it was nothing. We were basically, four different shows a week, 4 days on, 3 days off, 4 days on, 3 days off. And then when I went, internationally overseas, that was, weeks at a time. So I was used to traveling, which I feel like has helped me a lot when not now, unfortunately, but when SCW goes to Dallas, and when SCW goes, to California and on all these places, I'm like, yeah, it's no big deal. Hop on a plane and get there, stay in a hotel. In a way, it's kind of fun.
Love it. I love it. Well, so I think we've covered everything we can cover about the first question, even though I never asked it, which is, how did you get your start in the fitness industry? But how did you get your start with SCW Fitness? Let's talk about that. Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in knocking on as many doors as possible. And I want to knock on as many doors that interest me. And if there's any doors that interest me, I'm going to knock on it. And sometimes the doors will open. Sometimes the doors won't open. Sometimes the doors won't open right now. And sometimes the doors will open later. But I knocked on SCW's door and I said, hey, I've been doing this for a while now. I didn't reach out to them 1 year experience. Hey, can I teach for you? This was only a couple years ago. So I still had about 12, 13 years of experience. Hey, this is what I've done. I've worked for Equinox. I've worked for Nike. I've done work for 24 Hour Fitness. You know, I've gave them a little of my resume and said, you know, I know you guys, you know, teach and present workshops all around the country. You know, I'd love to be considered for a position. Fill out the application, put in some potential topics, and cross my fingers. And I was lucky enough to be given an opportunity. And the thing with giving an opportunity is that, one, make sure you're ready for the opportunity, which I was, and two, you know, take advantage of the opportunity. So, so it wasn't just getting into the door with SCW, because I mean, that's just disciplined work. Like, you got to fill out an application. You have to have a good resume. You know, when you talk to, you know, Sarah Cooperman and everyone else that you talk to, you have to make sure you're articulate, and you have to make sure that you can represent the brand to the highest standard. And then that's almost the easy part. And then the hard part is, okay, when the lights are on, when there's, you know, 50, 100, maybe more people, you know, in front of you, can you deliver? And I'm fortunate enough to, you know, just like anything else, just like any other job, you know, they give you a couple classes to start, maybe not prime time, maybe not, you know, the best spots, but they say, all right, kid, let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
And you take that and you say, I don't care if there's 3 people in this room, or I don't care if there's 500 people in this room. I'm going to treat it with the same energy and same respect. And once again, that went back to my wrestling, because when I was coming up the ranks in wrestling, right, I wrestled in front of 20 people in a barn. I wrestled in front of 15,000 people in Madison Square Garden, right? So I have all those different experiences of being in front of, you know, a lot of different types of crowds. And the one thing that I've learned, and especially from other successful presenters and mentors that I have, is that you go in there and you have the same energy, and you go in there with the same amount of intensity to present, no matter if it's 3 people or 50 people. And that's what I did. And then before I know it, maybe I starting to get some good feedback, and then I drop some other things. I say, hey, you know, I can also teach this, and I can also teach this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what he can do here. Let's see what he can do here. And then once again, you create more opportunities for yourself, and then you take advantage of those opportunities. And that's what I've done with SCW, I'm proud to say. And I'm grateful for SCW to giving me the opportunities.
Love it. I love it. Okay. So you made me think of a question that is not on the list, but I think people would love to hear this, and I think it would be so valuable. Yeah. And by the way, I want you to know, when I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the feed, and I want to make sure people are not asking questions that we should answer. It's not because I'm not paying attention. I'm actually going to take notes, and I will be putting posts in the group based on the things that you tell us. So.
I would think that you're paying attention to me.
I sure am. I'm just over here, you know, looking at my Facebook feed. Yeah. No, but so how do you prepare when you're about to present?
Oh, that's a great question. So a lot of different ways. The first way too is, let me start from the back, and then I'll back up from there. Okay. Once the presentation is set, you got to practice it. You have to practice it sitting in front of just you know, the mirror. You have to practice it. Hey, and anybody who's willing to sit down in front of you, just let me say this. Let me see how it comes out. Let me see your feedback. Let me see what you can provide to me. Once the finished product, or, you know, it probably won't be finished, because then based off of how you practice it, and based off of how you articulate it, and based off of the feedback that other individuals give to you, then you're going to have to, you know, tweak it from there. So yes, it's a cliche. I do use a lot of cliches when I present, and when I have conversations like this. But I mean, practice is important, and, you know, preparing is important. And one of the quotes that I love is, you know, failing to plan is planning to fail. So you have to have that plan and preparation going in. When I present to colleges and universities, I'm going over this thing over and over and over and over again until I know when once again, when the lights come on, that I'm ready for it. And then to kind of back up, then it's, starting with that outline of, okay, so what's my objective? Like, what am I planning to get across to the people that are listening to me speak? And I have to make sure that I get those points across. So I'll have those kind of bullet points of, okay, this is what I want them to learn. This is what I want them to walk away with. This is what I want them to think about. And I'll have those bullet points in my mind throughout this entire presentation when it's live. Another cliche is, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Why is it important? Right? Mm-hmm. If I can answer those three questions, if you can answer those three questions, if anybody out there can answer those three questions, then we're in a much better position no matter what we're doing. I'm not talking about fitness presenting. I could be talking about anything. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? Why is it important? And those three questions are constantly in my head when I'm trying to get points across or trying to make someone's light bulbs go off or getting that aha moment where it's, oh yeah, I never thought about that, or that makes a lot of sense. That's the stuff that I'm looking for when I'm presenting. So that's, without going too deep, that's how I look at preparing for, anything.
I love it. And so important. What am I presenting? How am I getting across? Who's getting the message? Who's not? Do I need to give more examples, more metaphors?
And that could be, let's throw presenting to the side for now. That's anything. If you're a personal trainer and you're one-on-one personal training, okay, what am I doing with this person today? Why am I doing it with this person today? Why is it important to this person today? With a group class, same thing. No matter who you are, this is applicable. And once again, throw even fitness to the side. This applies to anything that we're doing in our lives. And those three questions just make it that much easier. So I'll challenge everyone out there who's watching and will listen later is, can you answer those three questions on a deep, specific level? Not like, what am I doing? I'm teaching exercise. Why am I doing it? To make people sweat. Why is it important? Because exercise is good for you, right? Much deeper than that. What am I doing? I'm going to do a mobility-based warm-up. Why am I doing that? Because this individual has presented tightness in their hips and their shoulders. Why is it important to them? Because for the last several years, they've complained about, neck tightness and low back stiffness. So, and that's almost still a surface answer, but that's an example off the top of my head where I'm trying to get other individuals to.
Yeah. I think you could almost patent that. What, why, and why.
I'm sure it's patent somewhere.
Tell me, what is your favorite thing about your career in fitness?
Good question. You have a lot of good questions. I'll use the cliche again, and like literally what I think we oftentimes forget in the fitness industry is that people are literally putting their lives and their bodies in our hands. They are saying, okay, I'm here. Tell me what to do with my body. And then not only that, they say, well, tell me what I should eat. Tell me, is this good for me? You have such an effect on people's lives. And when I hear feedback, which I've heard, serious feedback, when someone tells me you changed my life, like, is there any stronger statement than being in a service industry and having someone say, because of the way you've taught me exercise and nutrition and self-care, you've literally changed my life. Now I wake up and I don't have pain in my back anymore. Or now I feel strong enough to play with my grandkids, and the list goes on and on. So I think the most gratifying, part of my job is that, there is potential to literally change lives. And I look at different sides of the coin, and I often use this phrase that I stole from somewhere else. I don't know where I stole it from, but it's called enter training. And enter training is just, hey, let's sweat, let's move, which, hey, it's better than nothing, right? But
I'm writing that down, enter training.
Yeah. And, I understand. And believe me, I have acting experience. I have pro wrestling experience. I know that you need some personality to keep someone engaged or to keep a group engaged. But once you peel back the curtain, as they say, what's there, right? And oftentimes I see there's big entertainment going on, and there's big personality, and there's all this but then when you peel back the curtain, there's not much substance there. And that's what I'm looking to add. That's what I'm looking to help change in the fitness industry. How cool would it be if a trainer did not only have a good personality and could train you, but they actually knew a lot of other stuff that you needed to help you move better and feel better. Versus
right, the entertainment is like the add-on, the icing on the cake.
It's the sizzle to the steak.
Ooh, there we go. I love it. I love it.
But you got to have a good steak. Like you got to know how to cook it. You got to know how to cook a steak before you can sizzle a steak.
Oh, so true. So true. I love that. So tell me, we've talked about your favorite parts of the industry. I love the "you changed my life" answer. When I've asked this in the group, I've gotten a lot about making connections and about changing lives. But the way that you said it was very different. And it makes me think I would love to hear from the Fit Pros that are watching live, or if you're watching in the replay and you want to add it in the comments. When is the time that somebody has come to you and said, "You've changed my life"? I think we could get some really fascinating stories and really connect over that, because that's what we do it for.
Yeah. And I think, like I said, it's easy to kind of go through the motions or just take things for granted sometimes, and because we do it every day, right? And we're just seeing people every day. And it's okay, yep, let me train this person, and then who's next? Or let me teach this class, and next class. But every single one of these human bodies are coming to you, and you have the potential to make them feel better. You have the potential to change them. You have the potential to change them physically, emotionally, mentally. And I feel like we should never, ever lose sight of that, especially when you get in a runt. A lot of runts could be had right now, and it's understandable. But there's still amazing ways that we can affect people's lives positively. And we're usually one of the first lines of defense, right? Because it's, I'm not going to go to a doctor until I get sick, right? Well, how about you train enough and eat well enough so you don't get sick, so you don't have to go to a doctor, right? And that's where I come in. That's where we all come in. So that's how I'm looking at the fitness industry. And I'm also a part of a company that I'm really proud to be a part of. It's called Institute of Motion, which I've been a part of for many years. And one thing that was said recently was, the fitness industry is talking a lot about sets and reps and dumbbells. Institute of Motion, we're talking about longevity, resiliency, and sustainability, right? And that's a whole other wavelength to be on, where I'm not just training you, and I'm not thinking about sets and reps, and that's important, and we should still be thinking about that. But I'm thinking too about, I'm training you now for you to be healthy 10 years from now. I'm training you now so you can still do everything you want to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And it's not just once again, the entertainment, beat you up, make you sweat, and kick you out the door.
I love it. I love it. And so true. So how do you practice self-care for you?
Yeah. So as I've gotten older, And this is kind of, in a lot of ways, this is a young person's game, where you see a lot of hot shots coming up now, and everyone's doing these cool social media posts and videos, and I've started to see a new wave of trainers come in, and as I've gotten older, to try to keep up, so to speak, and I still feel like I'm keeping up, for my age. Self-care has been a huge part of this. And this is doing stuff that I never really thought that I needed to do, wanted to do, should do. It's like, even some would say maybe like weird stuff, like making the point to take an Epsom salt bath at least once a week.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem.
So an Epsom salt bath.
Yeah, like doing stuff like, taking an Epsom salt bath, and then maybe even doing cryotherapy to get the hot, the hot and the cold. I'm sitting here
That's
right now.
something we have not listed yet.
Yeah, so I have this. It's called the Mark Pro. It's an electric stim unit. It helps with recovery and any potential pain. So sometimes I'll just sit as I'm sitting right now, throw on the Mark Pro, let the electric stim, help me recover as well. Maybe that's doing more mobility work. Maybe that's doing more stretching, dynamic stretching. So things like that, I make it a point. Massage, for sure. Someone doing body work, for sure. At this point in time, not exactly the safest or the easiest, but when it's time to do that, I would definitely like to go back to getting a consistent body work / massage. So then between all this stuff, right, getting a massage, taking an Epsom salt bath, doing cryotherapy, wearing compression boots, the Normatec compression, for the legs, the arms, the hips, a Mark Pro electric stim. And this is over the course of a week, right? Because what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to stay on top of my age. So I could age as gracefully as I can, and I can stay this fit, depending on, that's relatively speaking, as long as I can. And the only way to do that is, once again, be preventative about it and not be reactive to it, right? Why wait for your body to hurt to take an Epsom salt bath, right? Here's a crazy idea. Why don't you take continuous Epsom salt baths and do Normatec recovery and do electric stim and do some foam roll and do some stretching, so then you don't feel in pain, and then you don't feel like you have to do that stuff out of necessity and out of reactivity.
Oh gosh, isn't that so true? We've talked a lot. So in July, we did kind of self-care month, and we talked a whole lot about self-care for fitness professionals. And we had someone on who does reflexology, and she taught us some reflexology moves, which I loved so much. But we also talked about the power of habits, and how when you're in a time like this, it's really important to have those self-care habits, that you don't treat it as just a prize, that it's a habit, and that will carry you through, and you come out the other end so much stronger, happier, more resilient, less reactive, all of those important things. So I love what you had to say there. It's so important.
And at this point, like you said, we need self-care more than ever. We need to have some type of habit for self-care more than ever. I worry less, and this is actually, let me plug an upcoming article. So I write for the fitness company blog called PT on the Net, and my next article that will be coming out in the next couple of months is basically saying exercise may be the easy part, right? doing your movements, doing your 45 minutes or an hour, or whatever you do during the course of a day, that may in fact be the easy part. The difficult parts may be, what are you doing when you're not exercising? Are you sitting too much? What are your self-care strategies? What are your nutritional habits? And when you look at it like that, it's like, maybe I need to focus more on, what I'm doing, when I'm not exercising just as much as I focus what I'm doing when I am exercising.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It does make a lot of sense. I've got a client that is an ex-professional ballerina, and she made it to about 35 years old, which is, I think, pretty old for a ballerina. And she said that she just found she spent so much of her day doing the self-care things to maintain the mobility and to be able to continue to do the things that she could do, that it wasn't sustainable to do the self-care anymore.
Right. And I've worked with a lot of dancers, and I know a lot of dancers, and that's a great example, because how many dancers, they get a little older and their body's just broken, right? Their feet, their ankles, especially the ballerinas, from being on the toes, and their knees, their low back, and the amount of self-care that they need is a lot. And that's why she's probably made it a career. It's funny to be like, oh, she's 35, she's over the hill. But like for a dancer, we all know that is older for a dancer. So she must have been doing a lot of great things for self-care to keep her that long. And the key now too is, at 35, she better do that self-care and maybe even more to make sure that she stays on top of it, because then once you kind of stop, your body kind of settles in the bones, and everyone's like, what was I doing the last 30 years of my life?
Yeah.
So what you want to do is, once again, you want to stay on top of it with self-care. And self-care means different things. Self-care could mean, I know a lot of people that wake up in the morning and they do meditation, and that's a great way to self-care. So, whatever self-care means to you and to everyone out there, I think it's fair to say, just make sure you're doing it.
Yeah, I so completely agree. And I would just add to that and challenge everybody here to make sure that it's a habit and it's a routine, and that maybe even you have a certain part of your day that's cut out just for that every day, even if it's just an Epsom salt bath, which I do almost every day.
There are worse things you could do than sit in a nice bath and just soak and relax and breathe. And, if you want, hey, put on a little show or something, put on a comedy, something that'll make you laugh, smile, nothing too serious. Don't put on the news.
Thank you.
We're using Epsom salt baths as an example, but once again, this could be anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we are going to move on to question number 4, which is huge. What do you see as the biggest opportunity for fitness professionals, or you can pick the fitness industry right now?
Yeah, I think during this time, the evolution of health coaching. So not just, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a group fitness instructor, right? And how important it is to take care of ourselves in the myriad of ways we take care of ourselves. Once again, like the physical, emotional, mental state is raising the bar, so to speak, of being a health supervisor, so to speak, where it's not just giving training sessions. It's following up on the self-care stuff. Hey, what are you doing in your off day? A lot of, the joke that I often hear is, when someone says they're taking a day off, they just don't do anything. Like, just because you're not exercising hardcore that day doesn't mean that that's not a day that you can't do something positive for your body. In Institute of Motion, we call it working in, right? So you can work out, you can also work in, right? There's some days where you need to
writing that down too.
There's some days where you need work in days. You don't need workout days. And if you didn't get a lot of sleep and you had a tough workout maybe a day or two ago, and you're stressed and you just saw the news and you don't know what's going to happen with schools and all this stuff's running through your mind, is that the best day to go all out? Or is that going to actually stress your body out more, raise your cortisol levels even more, and it may not be the best strategy for that day, which is why, once again, I kind of bring in, the ability for us as an industry to be health concierge services, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I think Institute of Motion has done a really good job of is to bringing that to light, where it's, what are we doing to train for resiliency? What are we doing to train for sustainability? And I hope and I think that that's going to be the next wave, and that's going to be where you see trainers transform and become really successful, or just trainers will continue
Mm-hmm.
to evolve and become really successful. One company that I admire a lot is Precision Nutrition and Dr. John Berardi. And one of the reasons why I admire him and his company is because it's not just a nutrition certification. It's not just a nutrition company. It's just as much about habits. It's just as much about asking the question, why? Why is this person doing this? Why are you eating ice cream at 11:30 at night? What triggers are going off? Things like that. And then creating habits and creating new habits based off of, simple strategies that a health coach can help lead you to keep you, once again, resilient.
Yeah. So you are the third SCW pro to mention Precision Nutrition. That's interesting. And I think I've had 3. So it's been 3 and then Sarah. So Sarah, we didn't go near anything like that. But yeah, that's really interesting. So the opportunity you see is the rise of the individual health coach, and which is very similar to what I've been saying, because I just keep saying 2020 and 2021 are the year that the individual instructor and personal trainer go out there and they figure out how they're going to make their living outside of an institution.
Right. And this is the time, because as we're seeing with the different research that's coming out, like, I'm not saying like you're not gonna get COVID, right? I'm saying that if you're healthier, you have a better immune system, that God forbid, maybe you get it, you'll recover from it, much quicker than someone who's obese, who's got diabetes, who could potentially, I don't want to use the word die from it, but that's taking care of your body too, especially in the time we're in right now, is being in that optimal health state is even more important than it's ever been. And that's why a health coach, a personal trainer, a group fitness instructor, et cetera, should be trying to take advantage of everybody out there saying, man, I don't want to get sick, or I don't want to be, on that list of predisposed conditions. Well, what's the best way to not be on that list? Is to be preventative, so you don't get obese, so you don't get diabetes, so you don't have high blood pressure, and the snowball goes on and on. So that's where a health coach could come in and say, let's do some preventative stuff, or at the very least say, okay, this is where you are now. Let's try to get you off that blood pressure medication by doing some aerobic and anaerobic training. And then before you know it, now I'm healthier overall. I feel better overall, and my body's able to fight, whatever comes at me, a little better.
I love it. So true. So true. So Myram is saying this approach to health may require an individual retrospection of the meaning and purpose of being healthy, acknowledgement of the intrinsic responsibility of each one of us. And that's what I hear you saying too, that each one of us has a responsibility to our own health.
That was deep. Whoever wrote that was deep.
She says, great topic and great speaker. So she's appreciating you.
Thank you.
And before that, when we were talking about the stories of people of changing participants' lives, Regina said, I was teaching bar and a young girl said I helped her boost her confidence after she had her second baby. I love that. So question number 5, this is a big one too. What one thing do you know now that you wish you had known starting out?
Yeah, I think I'm going to answer with this one. I thought it was a lot simpler. I thought it was So this person came up to me and says, "You want a job here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'll teach somebody some squats and push-ups, and that'll be it." But how much more goes into it?
Mm-hmm.
And did they have a fight with their spouse the day before, and now they're mentally just not even in the gym? And what do you do with them when that happens? And what do you do with them when they said, "Yeah, I was running outside and I rolled my ankle, and it doesn't feel great." And then you got to change direction. Like there's so, "Oh yeah, I forgot to eat." There's so many things that go into now. I'm using personal training as an example because I'm a personal trainer by trade, even though I still teach group classes. But for me, what I didn't realize is until I got into it about how much more goes into a exercise session, a movement session, a training session, and how much more thought needs to go into that training session. And maybe you have to pivot off the plan of that day. Maybe you're doing the plan exactly as is, but you have to think about the sleep, the nutrition, the emotional states, and when they're dropping hints like, "Yeah, man, my freaking dog, is sick again, and I didn't sleep all night." Like, they may not be saying they're tired, but then you have to consciously say, my client's not right today, so maybe I shouldn't have them do that max, exercise of the day, or do that big 45-second high intensity burst on the bike or the treadmill or things like that. Maybe today's not the day for that. And I think that's definitely me personally, that came with experience. Like that, I didn't realize this stuff until, getting some reps and getting some years in. But I think that would be my answer to your question is, how much more should go into, an exercise day, session, a week, a month, everything like that. And how many pieces to this puzzle, play into that. I just thought, let's work out, but it's a lot more than that.
I love it. Well, we all did, I think, going in as young, 20-somethings. And as we get older, we realize just how holistic the whole thing is, how much people depend on us for their mental health, and how much we can affect a life positively when we prepared ourselves properly, educated ourselves properly, and have the proper preparation for our sessions.
And I think that only comes with experience, right? So like you said, like you need to go through some stuff, and maybe you need to get that, my low back's not feeling that great today. Maybe I shouldn't deadlift, or something like that. Or maybe I shouldn't do that kettlebell swing today. And then you feel what your clients and your members are feeling as well. And I think that once again, that only comes with time and experience.
Yeah. So another commenter is summing up what you had to say by saying, thinking on your toes and being a good listener. So true.
Yeah. A lot of people, what's another cliche that I use? You can hear someone, but you may not listen to them, right? It's easy to hear someone, but it's much different to listen to someone.
So true. So tell us what you will be presenting at SCW Dallas.
Yes, let me make sure I don't miss any of it. Okay, so actually, this Thursday, and this Thursday is August 13th.
Yes, today's the 11th, so it's the 13th.
I will be on a panel with Sarah Cooperman and a couple other really top-notch fitness pros. We're going to be talking about virtual training, ins and outs, and giving as much advice and encouragement in the virtual training space as we can. That's going to be this Thursday night. I think it's 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that's not SCW Mania Dallas yet. That's just an added SCW webinar, and I think SCW is doing an amazing job of continuing to try to reach all of us and keep us, engaged and keep the community going. As far as SCW goes, on Friday, August 21st, I will be once again on another panel talking about the future of fitness and the trends that we see, the trends that we believe are going to take place, and some some potential hypotheses of where we will be going. Then on Saturday, August 22nd, we're going to be talking about bulletproofing the low back, and some strategies on how to keep that low back from hurting you, as most of the world studies show that most people in their lives will experience low back pain. And there's even research that says right now in this very second, like 60%, I don't know it off the top of my head, like 60% of people have low back pain like right now. So low back's a big topic. And then on Saturday at 4:00, on Saturday, August 22nd at 4:00 Eastern, some stress busting techniques. So that's going to be kind of what we talked about, but how do we put this in a weekly, platform? How do we make sure we're doing enough self-care, but maybe we're doing too much foam rolling and not enough exercise?
Oh, that can happen.
Maybe you're doing too much exercising and not enough foam rolling, right? Or maybe just by doing the same things over and over again, your body's become so efficient at it that your body has stopped adapting to it. So maybe you need to do something else, right? So that's what I'm going to be talking about at 4:00 Eastern time. And then at 5:30 on that Saturday, August 22nd, I'm going to be doing the Bodyweight Warrior, which is basically, moving your body, and the things that I've learned from things like Animal Flow, which is a form of, body weight exercise, calisthenics, and, how we can not use any equipment and still have a great workout and still train coordination, still train multiplanar, still train our entire body, and the two big words, mobility and stability. So if I can do body weight exercises that enhance my mobility and stability, then I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna pass that message along at SCW Mania on Saturday, August 22nd.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much. That is a great schedule. So you guys look for Giovanni on the schedule. Take some of his courses. As you can see, he's super knowledgeable and has a lot to teach us about sustainability and mobility and aging gracefully and helping our participants to do the same. So thank you so much, Giovanni, for being here. I'm going to give a few little housekeeping items, and then we are going to wrap this up. So, so we've talked all about SCW Dallas. We've talked about how do you register. Is there a way to register for the workshop that you are presenting on Thursday?
Yeah, that's on the SCW website as well, and that's a free complimentary webinar. So all you have to do is go into the SCW website, and you'll see a whole. It's not just me on Thursday. SCW and Sarah is doing a whole slew of complimentary webinar panels.
Yep. I'm on their website right now, and I'll find the exact link to that page in case they need to input their email or anything, and I'll make sure that I put that in the comments. So y'all, the other thing that's going on is that I'm registering right now for the Sell Out Your Online Workout Boot Camp, which is going to be August 24th. So it's the week after SCW Mania, and that is where I am going to help every single one of you pack your online workouts with monthly subscribers. I'm going to be on every day that week teaching for an hour at least. I'm going to give homework. There are lots of prizes I'm giving away. And you go to fitprosconnect.com/bootcamp, and that's a free registration. But you do have to register because it'll be in a separate group from Fit Pros Connect. That's what happens when you talk for so many hours a day on live video.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. And then just check out scwfit.com and you'll find everything you need for SCW Dallas. So Giovanni, thank you again. Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone. I can't see who's who's been watching and listening, but thank you for anyone who's been watching and listening and who's watching this from a recording. And, you know, keep on keeping on, everybody.
All right. We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.
Thanks.